So the fire marshal's on the scene. The cause of the fire is under investigation. The initial reports into 911 was that there was a motorcycle that may have caught fire in a storage unit on the first floor. We've not confirmed that yet, but that was what was reported to 911.
Was there someone who was in there working on a motorcycle?
We believe that there was somebody that owned the bike inside working on it who attempted to extinguish it with extinguishers either simultaneously with calling the fire department or prior to calling the fire department.
How much damage inside there are we talking about?
The building's very big. It's a large building. It's my best estimate is about 600 feet long by 150 feet deep, and it's attached to a similar size building that runs down the neighboring street. The fire is in the center of the building, which you could see where they were working with the ladder trucks to cut the holes in the wall. The damage in that area is significant. There's an area that collapsed from the second floor down into the first floor that's maybe 60 feet by 20 or 30 feet, and everything above on the second floor concrete, including antique cars, very nice cars that are stored upstairs, has all fallen down into the first floor, which has created a pretty significant problem for us to try and deal with.
Has firefighters been able to do a technical search in there yet or not?
As far as life hazard,
To make sure nobody's in there?
we know that there were 2 units on the first floor that were occupied. Both of the occupants in those units are out and accounted for, and from what we can tell, the rest of the units are locked from the outside, which would indicate to us in a storage unit facility that those 2 people were the only ones that we were concerned about early on.
Did you have any difficulties fighting this fire?
We've had several difficulties. The building itself is large, so getting hoses down the corridors was extremely challenging. There was a variety of water issues. We consumed essentially all of the water in the town because of the amount of ladder pipes and hose lines we were flowing. Fortunately, we were very close to Pittsburgh, so we were able to steal quite a bit of water from the city hydrants, which was tremendously helpful. Obviously, volunteer fire service is a challenge right now. We're hurting for daylight staffing, so to get enough resources here was a significant problem in the middle of the day on a Wednesday. And, it's hot, it's humid.
Talk about people who talked, you said there were several hundred cars. Is that likely? Does that sound likely?
I would guess on the second floor that there is a significant number of vehicles, yes.
There's 2 levels, right? The cars and the motorcycle down.
So the first floor is a storage unit, as you would imagine, driving by on the highway with individual units of various sizes, and the contents of those could be anything from household goods that people are using to store moving items all the way through vehicles, or some people work construction jobs out of those. So one of the concerns that we ran into was what is the contents of those. We know in the area where the fire started there was a significant amount of fuel, which actually early on in the fire exploded and pushed the front wall of the building out. So one of our biggest challenges is not knowing exactly what those contents are.
And the second level is motorcycles?
The second level is wide open in all vehicles, 4-wheel vehicles typically. So antique cars, very nice cars, tailgate vehicles, those types of things.
What about sprinklers and fire alarms? We heard that there was a delay in the sprinkler system and the fire alarm. Is that correct?
To my knowledge, there was no fire alarm activated. The calls came in through cell phones to 911, and we're investigating the report of the sprinklers now. But the indication is that from the damage, the sprinkler system may have malfunctioned for some reason. Typically, that would have done a job at containing that fire into 1 or 2 units, and the damage here is leading us to believe that there may have been some issue that prohibited that from working correctly. But that is under investigation by the county fire marshal.
So did the fire alarm go off or no?
To my knowledge, it did not. We did not have a reported fire alarm.
People who own vehicles or whatever, boats or whatever in there, they're not going to be allowed in there this evening. Obviously, this thing is still burning.
They will not be allowed in there anytime soon. There's still fire in the building. We have an engineer here from the PA Region 13 Urban Search and Rescue Team who's helping us with safe areas that we can work as firefighters based on the structural integrity. So I don't have any intentions on putting anybody in there and risking life when right now we've eliminated that risk, and that would be silly to do that. What's damaged is damaged.
Do you know roughly how long it took to get the fire just under control?
I would say it took us 3 hours to be comfortable that it wasn't going to go to additional buildings. It was a significant fire that we chased throughout this entire city block. and we're still dealing with problems. So the term under control is a bit elusive to me right now, but I'm comfortable it's going to stay in a small area, but we're still dealing with fire right now.
So we don't have a smoke plug.
The first arriving fire engine had smoke all the way down to the floor at the entrance behind me. And if you can imagine stretching a hose line 400 feet into that door, that's a pretty significant problem when we're going 400 feet deep into a building and we know that the fire is in there somewhere, but the smoke is so severe that we can't see. We know it's hot, and the deeper you go, the more dangerous it gets. So the smoke was a significant problem.
Firefighters okay, the ones that were injured?
I'll defer to Chief Schmidt on that, but
So we had three minor injuries, one who's treated on scene, and one for treatment, and 2 firefighters were transported. All of them are minor. Should be just fine in the long run. Happy to say.
Chief, how many, 4 alarms, but how many departments are here?
so I would actually say it's about 7 alarms. We went to 5 alarms with local companies in the North Hills of Pittsburgh, and the 6th alarm was actually an entire zone from the city of Pittsburgh, which they were incredibly helpful in bringing some specialized resources and a fuel truck and an auto mechanic, and certainly their chiefs are very knowledgeable, so we took advantage of that.